In all my years of gaming, I've never touched a Battlefield game until now. The Battlefield 6 open beta was my very first taste of the franchise, and I was genuinely surprised by what the game had to offer. Alright, before we dive in, I just want to make it clear, this is 100% my own opinion based on my personal experience. I'm not sponsored, I'm not partnered with Battlefield or EA, and I've never played a Battlefield game before this. I've put about 16 hours into Battlefield 6 open beta so far, really taking the time to explore the maps, try out different weapons, jump in vehicles, and see what this game has to offer from a completely fresh perspective. If you've been playing Battlefield for years, your experience might be totally different, and that's okay. This review is just my honest first impression as a newcomer stepping into the Battlefield series for the very first time. Alright, now that you know where I'm coming from, let's get into the good stuff, because there was some things in Battlefield 6 open beta that really caught me off guard in the best possible ways. The gunplay in Battlefield 6 feels incredibly satisfying. Weapons have a solid, weighty feel without being overly difficult to control. Recoil is manageable, and once you get into a rhythm, it's easy to chain together some insane back-to-back kills, as long as you have the ammo for it. I also appreciate that the game limits you to 3 total magazines by default. It forces you to think about your shots, conserve ammo, and rely on your squad to fill specific roles, which really adds to the teamwork element. The time to kill is on the quicker side, which makes sense given the semi-realistic approach they're going for. That said, I think adding something like armor plating could slightly extend the time to kill while still keeping that grounded feel. In my opinion, that change would make the firefights even more intense and give players a better chance to react. Of course, great gunplay is only part of the experience. What really sets Battlefield apart is the world you're fighting in. The chaos, the scale, the detail, and in the open beta, the maps didn't just set the stage, they became a character in the battle themselves. During the open beta, we had access to 3 different maps, and I've got to say, they all felt really well sized for 64 player matches. The biggest one, which included helicopters and fighter jets, was massive in scale, but it never felt empty or overwhelming. It struck a nice balance between open space for vehicles and tighter areas for infantry combat. Each map had distinct areas with objectives placed in ways that naturally pulled players into high action zones, and visually, the environment is stunning, from the destructible buildings to the ways trees and terrain can be altered by explosions. The maps feel alive and reactive. Taking cover in a building feels intense because you know at any second that cover could be obliterated by a tank shell or rocket. The destruction adds a layer of unpredictability that makes every match unique. The visuals themselves are top-notch. Realistic lighting, incredible detail in the terrain, and effects that make you feel like you're right in the middle of a war zone. The smoke and explosion effects are especially wild. Sometimes you can't even see where you're shooting because the battlefield is so chaotic, but that chaos is exactly what makes it feel authentic. So let's talk movement in Battlefield 6. It honestly feels rock solid. Vaulting over cover is smooth and realistic, sliding feels great, and diving straight into a prone position is just as satisfying as it looks. Animations overall are well done, though every now and then you get some wild ragdoll physics, and honestly, they're more comedic than annoying. There's something hilarious about getting shot and watching your body go flying 20 feet into the air. In firefights, movement feels fluid and responsive, letting you react quickly without feeling sluggish. I didn't really run into any mechanics I disliked. The only minor hiccup was a few moments where I tried to grab a ledge I thought I could reach, only to find out it was just slightly too high, meaning I'd have to reposition and vault from something else. Overall, the movement speed and mechanics feel perfectly balanced for the maps and game pace. Honestly, I think DICE nailed it here. They've done a fantastic job making movement both functional and fun. And while moving around the battlefield feels fantastic, it's not just about how you move, it's about who you're moving with. In Battlefield 6, teamwork isn't just encouraged, it's essential. Squad play in Battlefield 6 feels awesome. The game pushes you to rely on your teammates running different classes, so your squad brings a full set of tools to the fight. Because ammo is limited, you'll need a support class nearby to resupply you. Support players also get the fastest revive speed, And honestly, getting pulled back into the fight mid-battle is one of the most satisfying mechanics in the game. Plus, the revive animation is just chef's kiss. It just looks fantastic. Recon players bring a whole different level of utility with spotting and marking enemies, UAVs to reveal positions on the minimap, and even deployable mobile radars with proximity detection. Then there's the assault class, your aggressive run and gun infantry packing primaries, secondaries, shotguns, tactical grenades, and even adrenaline syringes to keep themselves in the fight. The engineer class is another powerhouse, equipped to repair vehicles, unguided rockets, and lock on ground-to-air launchers along with grenades and a repair tool. If you're looking to farm points, engineer or medic are hands down the way to go. Stick with a tank as an engineer and just keep repairing it. If your tank stays alive, you can practically guarantee your team's victory, especially in conquest mode where tanks are absolute beasts. All in all, squad roles in Battlefield 6 aren't just flavor, they're game changing, and learning how to play off your squad mates' strengths is one of the most rewarding parts of the experience. And while squad coordination is what wins the match, the thing that really pulls you into the fight is how the game sounds and feels while you're playing it. The sound design in Battlefield 6 is phenomenal, and as a new player, it can be overwhelming. There is a constant wall of noise with explosions, gunfire, jets screaming overhead, tanks rumbling by, and grenades going off non-stop. In most shooters, I'm used to listening for footsteps to track enemies, but in Battlefield, that's just not realistic. With so many teammates and enemies constantly moving around, plus the sheer chaos of the battlefield, footsteps are drowned out, and honestly, that's how it's meant to be. This game isn't about sneaking around and sound whoring. It's about feeling like you're in the middle of all-out war, and the audio delivers that perfectly. Every explosion, every gunshot, every vehicle roar sounded incredible and adds to the immersion. On the performance side, I had to turn down some settings to ensure the smoothest gameplay possible while streaming on Twitch. I'm running a 4060 Ti with most settings on high and a few on low, and I was still pulling around 90 FPS while streaming, which is pretty solid. I did have to go into my BIOS to enable safe boot. However, EA does provide a guide for this if it's not already enabled. And I also had a friend whose game was crashing due to GPU overclocking. So if you have an overclockable graphics card, it's worth dialing in those settings to avoid issues. Overall though, Battlefield 6 runs well for me, even under streaming load, and when combined with its incredible audio, it makes for one of the most immersive shooter experiences I've had in a long time. So before I wrap this up, here's a quick recap of my time with the Battlefield 6 open beta. The gunplay is satisfying with balanced recoil and quick, intense firefights. The maps are gorgeous, destructible, and perfectly sized for 64-player chaos. Movement feels fluid and realistic with some hilarious ragdoll moments. Squad play is essential, and the class system makes every role valuable. The sound design is incredible and fully immerses you in the war zone. Performance was solid for me, even while streaming, with only minor setup tweaks needed. And honestly, for me, there weren't really any negatives worth pointing out. My time with the beta was just flat out fun. So now the big question, is Battlefield 6 worth buying? My personal opinion on the Battlefield 6 beta and whether it's worth buying, honestly, as the game sits right now, I still don't know. We only got to see 3 maps, and there seemed to be a limited selection of guns to choose from. That raises a lot of questions heading into the full release. I've even heard rumors of a possible Battle Royale mode. If that's true, will it be free to play like Warzone, or will it require the full $70 purchase? Coming from a Battle Royale background myself, that's a big deal, especially since most Battle Royales are standalone and free. When it comes to the main game, I want to know exactly what I'm getting for that $70 price tag, more maps, more weapons, additional game modes. Right now, there's only one map that features fighter jets, several maps that allow tanks, and the weapon pool still feels small. Of course, this is just an open beta, essentially a demo, so I understand it's a limited slice of the full game, but that's the point of the beta, to give players a taste of what's coming. And right now, while I enjoyed what I played, I'd personally wait until launch to see the full content list and hear what others are saying before I decide if I buy it or not. And that's going to wrap up my first impressions of Battlefield 6 Open Beta. If you've played it yourself, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's worth buying at launch, or are you waiting to see what else gets added? Drop your opinion down below in the comments so we can talk about it. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And if you want to hang out live, I stream a variety of different games Monday through Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. PST over at Twitch at twitch.tv/ProKShots. Come by, say hi, and be part of the community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.